Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new edition of Today's Youth. In this edition, we will be talking about tourism in Egypt and the status of tourism that have changed during the past 4 years due to some political instability. Of course, we all know that in 2010, around 14 million tourists visited Egypt. We will talk about how can we revive tourism and return it to its original status in 2010. We'll be meeting with a tourism expert right after the break. Egypt was known throughout its history as a destination of tourists and travelers since it was visited by Herodotus during the ancient time when he got surprised because of the vast difference between Egypt and his homeland. Egypt maintained this image throughout the Middle and modern history. However, the discovery of the pharaonic antiquities long time ago has added a special charm to Egypt besides its unique religious and cultural monuments. On the other hand, Egypt is a geographical location and a moderate climate all the year round, along with its smooth, vast coastlines and beaches, with its unique treasures of coral reefs, providing Egypt with advantages of a competitive edge. To talk about tourism in Egypt, and especially about tourism in Upper Egypt, and how to market those huge historic areas and make sure the world knows all about them. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're glad to be joined today by Mr. Tariq Nabil, tour guide and Egyptologist. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for coming today and see you and see the world. Yeah.
Right. I would first like you to start by telling us about yourself, about your education and your career. I know you're mainly an Egyptologist and a tour guide.
Yeah.
Right? Tell us more about this.
Actually, my name is Tariq Nabil. I am Egyptologist and tour guide. I worked in tourism field more than 15 years now. Mm-hmm. I graduated from the Faculty of Tourism and Hotels Guidance Department from Minya University.
Right.
Then 2002, I finished my postgraduates concerning the Egyptology in Egypt, mm-hmm.
and
the historical sites in all Egypt.
Right, so your postgraduate studies were mainly in Egyptology.
In Egyptology, yeah.
Right, I would like you to here define to our viewers what's Egyptology.
Actually, the Egyptology born in Egypt in about 1823 by learning how we can read the hieroglyphic language by the French mission or by Napoleon Bonaparte when he came to Egypt. And by discovering the Rosetta Stone, we knew how we can read the hieroglyphic language or the hieroglyphic carving in the temples, in the tombs. So from that time, the Egyptology born in Egypt, and we knew the history of Egypt from about 1823.
Why do you think is Egyptology so important to Egyptians and to the world? Not only Egyptians, it's also important in the outside world. They're studying Egyptology in the States, in Europe. Why do you think it's that important?
Actually, the Egyptology is very important for the whole world because from the Egyptology we knew the history of Egypt, that it dates back to more than 4,000 BC, because we have to inform the world that the Egyptian civilization and the Egyptian history is considered to be one of the most and the oldest history in the world. Also from the Egyptology we knew the medicine during the ancient Egyptian times, like in Komombo Temple in Aswan, about 40 kilometers north of Aswan. We knew the medicine during the ancient Egyptian times, how the ancient Egyptians were the first people used or knew the medicine in the world. And also if we talk about the pre-dynastic period till the time of Alexander the Great in 321 BC, those 4,000 years, we knew a lot of information about the history, about the medicine, about the architects, everything.
Right. Of course, tourism in Egypt has passed through some hard times during the past 4 years. We all know this. But how can we revive tourism? How can we promote the many hotspots that we have? We have a lot of hotspots in Egypt. We have the monuments in Luxor and Aswan. We have the magnificent beaches in Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. How can we promote this?
Actually, I want to inform the world that, and I want to inform the people that till 2010, the income of tourism arrived to $14 million.
I think around 14 million tourists visited Egypt in 2010. That was the statistics during that time.
Yeah. So you can imagine that how the importance of the tourism is to be one of the most important income. National income for Egypt. Actually, nobody knows, especially in Egypt, and I talk about the Egyptians, that they thought that just the tourism is good for the national income, but is not play important role to the world. But actually, I want to inform the people that till 2010 and before the revolution of 2011, the tourism give and can present about $14 million to the income to Egypt. I want to talk about that. This is $14 million. This is the real money enter to the
around $14 billion. That was the income from tourism in Egypt.
Yeah, but I want to also clear for the people that this is $14 million is plus the money of the tourists who come to Egypt. That is meaning when the tourists come to Cairo, by example, he will take a taxi. So the driver taxi work. So he wants to visit Cairo Museum. So he will rent a guide to be with him.
Of course, it provides job opportunities for
sure, yes.
a large number of Egyptians.
More than 25 million people
working in tourism.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Direct and indirect work. That is meaning maybe you work as a tour guide, maybe you work as a tourism manager in a company, in tourism company. So this is direct, but indirect, like in Luxor and Aswan, maybe you will find a boy polish the shoes for the tourist. This is income for him. So from about 2011, we found the collapsing of the tourism step by step. And now I think that just about 20% just work in Egypt, the tourism.
Right. How can we revive tourism back to its original status? How can we promote the important hotspots that we have in Egypt? We need to think about new out-of-the-box ideas to promote tourism internally and abroad. How can we do this?
Actually, abroad, we have to make more advertising concerning the tourism, concerning the historical sites, such as nobody in the world knows that there is a city called Elmenia. Elmenia, it was the capital of Egypt during the time of King Akhenaten, 1350 BC.
Right.
And Elmenia has more than 39 tombs. Nobody knows that.
Before talking about Menia, I would like to go to this short break, and we'll be right back. Right, welcome. And I would like you, I think you are specialized in Minya. Minya is one of Egypt's, of course, governorates in Upper Egypt, and it has a lot of ancient Egyptian monuments, and I think you're specialized in this area.
Yeah.
I would like you to give me a brief about tourism in Minya before we start talking in details about it.
Actually, Minya is considered to be one of the most important historical sites. Why? Because Minya, we have many visits in Minya, but nobody knows that. That is meaning we have Tell el-Amarna. Tell el-Amarna was the capital of Egypt during the time of Akhenaten, 1350 BCE. And also we have the tombs in Bani Hassan, date back to the Middle Kingdom. I talk about 2400 BCE. We have more than 39 tombs there.
Right. Before going into more details, we will go to a small video about Minya, and we'll be back. Minya is located approximately 245 kilometers south of Cairo on the western bank of the Nile River, which flows north through the city. The name of the city is derived from its ancient Egyptian name, meaning the nursing city of Khufu, linking it to the pharaoh Khufu, builder of the great pyramids in Giza. Minya is dubbed by the locals Bride of Upper Egypt, in reference to its strategic location in Middle Egypt as a vital link between the north and the south of Egypt. Right, welcome back. So that was a brief about El Minya Governorate and touristic sites over there. And back to you, I would like you to continue your description of the touristic sites in Minya.
Yeah. So, actually, as I told you that Minya has more than 39 tombs in Bani Hassan, plus the tombs of Tell el-Amarna. And nobody knows that Tell el-Amarna was the capital of Egypt during the time of King Akhenaten, date back to the New Kingdom, to the 18th dynasty.
Okay.
Also, we have very, very special.
And how long did it remain the capital of Egypt during the pharaonic times?
It took about 50 years. The capital
50
of Egypt,
years,
yeah,
the capital of
after Thebes, after Luxor.
Right.
Because actually Akhenaten was the king.
So Akhenaten moved the capital from Luxor, which was Tiba at that time,
Yeah.
to Elmenia.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
During the fourth year of his reign, he decided to change the capital from Luxor to be in Elmenia because Akhenaten was the first one who declared the worshipping of God called God Aten. That's why he decided to change the capital from Luxor to be Elmenia. And also Nefertiti, his wife, be with him in the new capital. Also, nobody knows that we have a very special touristic or historical site called the Tuna al-Jabal. Tuna al-Jabal,
this is in Menia, Tuna Jabal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was the name of the governorate during the time of Akhenaten?
Akhenaten.
So that was the name of the capital of Egypt during that time?
It meaning by Akhenaten, the horizon of Aten, or the horizon of the solar disk.
Right.
Yeah. Also, we have a Tuna al-Jabal. In Tuna al-Jabal, we have very important sources for the history during the Greek-Roman period. Especially, we have the mummification room in Tuna al-Jabal. And in this mummification room, we knew that the ancient Egyptians and the Greek-Roman, how they mummified the bodies of the animals. And also we have over there more than 11 kilometers tunnel under the ground that has more than 20,000 tombs for the animals, especially god ibis, cobras, and so on. Why? Because actually the ancient Egyptians mummified the bodies of animals because they worshipped the symbol of the power. They didn't worship the animal itself. They worshipped the symbol of the power of this animal. And also we have the mummy of Isadora. This mummy in very good preservation state and date back to 120 BC. So we have many things in Elmenia.
Right. If you move on from Menia to Upper Egypt, other governorates in Upper Egypt, Luxor, and so on, what do you think are the different types of tourism that can take place in these governorates?
Actually, in my opinion, Luxor and Aswan are amazing historical sites and touristic sites. But actually, I found, in my opinion, as a tourism expert, that the advertising here in Egypt always make a spot for Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. That's why we found the tourism in Luxor and Aswan, I think, almost stopped. That is meaning there
reduced from than before. You think
collected.
more tourism is going to Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh, the beaches?
Yes,
right. It's for diving, it's for snorkeling, other purposes of tourism. But how can we promote tourism in Upper Egypt and get it back to its original status in Luxor, Aswan, and of course Menia that you were just talking about?
In my opinion, we have to make a special channel for the historical sites in Egypt, such as the Sohag, because we have a temple there called Abydos. Right. It's amazing. It was the place of the pilgrimage during the ancient Egyptian time. Also, we
Temple of Abydos in Sohag. Yeah, it's a well-known one. I think it's included in the package for the boat package for Luxor. It's not? No,
actually, the Nile cruise started from Luxor, finished in Aswan.
It doesn't pass through Abydos.
This is no, southern part, no. Because actually Sohag is about 120 kilometers. This temple is located in Baliana. Baliana is a small village located in 120 kilometers north of Luxor. And Dandara temple date back to the Greek-Roman period. about 180 BC. Also, an amazing temple and in very good preservation state, located in about 60 kilometers north of Luxor. But nobody knows that, because actually they always advertising for Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada for the Russian tourism. I'm so sorry to say that, but for the Russian tourism, they always spot on the Russian tourism. If you want to come to Egypt, you can come and visit Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. But also, in my opinion, and also I worked as a tour guide, I found the people more interesting about the historical sites and about the history. And also in the Nile cruise in Luxor and Aswan, that the Nile cruise, it has a swimming pool, and also if the clients or the tourists want to find or make their skin prawns and so on, they also can do that, especially in the winter. But in my opinion, 320 boats, I talk about the floating hotels in Luxor and Aswan, more than 320 now stop, almost of them stop, and just 5 or 10 boats just work. In my opinion, I want to ask to change the policy of advertising in Egypt. Egypt is not Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. That is meaning Egypt, it has many different places, and also for the domestic tourism, for the people, for the Egyptians, you can visit Minya. You will find the hotels there cost you just 50 or 70 Egyptian pound per night. You can take your family by your car, and you can visit Minya, take 1 day or 2 days, like a weekend. But nobody knows that. I also want the people knows that Egypt need to know their country, because, to be honest with you, if I ask anybody in the Egyptian one don't work in tourism, when I ask him, you know Minya? No, I don't know that Minya had the mummification room, the history, and so on. You know that Sohag has a tourism or touristic historical place like Abydos? No, I don't know that. So even the people don't know their country, the historical place in their country, and so on. We need more information. We need more advertising. Egypt is not Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. Egypt is Luxor and Aswan and Minya and Sohag. Egypt is safe.
Okay, as a tourism expert in Minya, how do you think we can draw the attention of people to the importance of El Minya as a touristic site?
TV programs come, TV channel like Nile TV, like the public channel. Come to Minya, visit the tombs to introduce for the people that this is Minya. Now the tombs is open. The tombs are open. I'm sorry, are open for the people. You can come. It's not expensive. You can visit, and you can take a train from Cairo. Just 2 hours from Cairo to El Minya. You can enjoy with your friends and with your family. You can take your private car. You can come, take your weekend, Friday and Saturday, enjoy, see your history. Because if you ask any Egyptian citizen, can you visit Luxor and Aswan? He say no. It's a really long distance from Cairo. It's about
there are planes that goes to Luxor and Aswan to shorten the time and the distance.
He will. Anyone say to you, Tariq, excuse me, it's a long distance by the train, 11 hours to start from Cairo to visit
right, Tariq, I would just like to ask you, you knew our program through the Facebook page, right?
Yeah.
So this is an open invitation to all our viewers that our guest today knew the program through the Facebook page. And of course you watched the program, I think,
for sure.
on the TV.
And I know the aim of the program.
Right, and he contacted us through our Facebook page, and he had a story to tell us, so we invited him to come to the program. And this is our Facebook page. so you can put your questions, suggestions, or maybe if you have a story you would like to tell us. Right, and back to you, Tariq. And before we wrap up this edition, what would you like to tell our viewers? What would you like to tell Egyptians about tourism in Egypt? What's the message you would like to deliver? Short, because we don't have much time.
Visit your country, know your history. We don't just wait the international tourism to come to Egypt. We always welcome for the whole world come to Egypt and visit us for sure. But also I invite the Egyptians, the people, know your history. It's not cost a lot, and you will enjoy.
Right, Tariq Nabil, Egyptologist and of course tourism expert. Many thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for your time.
And dear ladies and gentlemen, with this we wrap up this edition of Today's Youth. Don't forget to join us next week, same time.